There's a moment before the song truly begins, a few seconds where everything hangs in the balance. The needle drops, the first note sounds, and you know instantly whether you're about to hear something ordinary or something that will change your life. The 70s mastered that moment better than any decade before or since. These weren't just catchy openings, they were statements of intent. Today, we count down the 10 intros that defined an era and still make your heart race the second they begin.
Well, all right, everybody!
Naughty Holder's voice cuts through before a single instrument plays. All right, everybody. Those two words were a command, an invitation, and a promise all at once. Then the band explodes behind him with a kind of raw energy that could only come from years of sweating in clubs, winning over crowds one gig at a time. Which Slade intro gets you pumped up the most?
Said I get down, get with it! To the church!
This was their first hit, a cover that they transformed into pure Slade chaos. The original was fine. Their version was a riot. Every note screamed celebration. Every beat demanded movement. The recording captured what it felt like to be in the room when Slade took the stage.
Cease! I want you to clap your hands and stamp your feet!
Naughty had this gift for making everyone listening feel like they were part of something bigger. Whether you were in the venue or sitting at home watching Top of the Pops, the intro wasn't just an opening. It was an invitation to join the greatest party in rock and roll history. Mick Ronson's guitar announces itself like a spaceship landing. That cranked Les Paul tone was perfect. Aggressive but controlled, wild but precise. Then Bowie's voice enters and suddenly you're transported somewhere else entirely. Not just another place, but another dimension where rock and roll could be theater and poetry and rebellion all at once. This was the title track from Bowie's greatest album. The intro captured everything about that era. About glam rock, about Bowie himself. It combined excitement with melancholy, power with vulnerability. The sound was massive yet intimate. Ronson's production gave it layers that revealed themselves with every listen. Bowie would go on to reinvent himself countless times, explore every corner of music and art, but this moment, this intro, remains arguably his finest. It's the sound of an artist at the absolute peak of his powers, creating something that would influence generations. That clean Fender Stratocaster rings out and instantly you're transported to the American South. Then you hear Ronnie Van Zant's voice in the background saying, "Turn it up." He was actually talking to the producer, asking for more volume in his headphones. They left it in because it was perfect. That accidental moment of authenticity made the intro feel even more real. Do you prefer Sweet Home Alabama or Freebird? Those opening notes defined Southern rock for an entire generation. The tone was immaculate, bright and clear, cutting through everything. When the full band kicks in, it's pure boogie perfection. The song itself took a shot at Neil Young,
Big wheels keep on turning.
who had criticized the South in his own songs. Skynyrd fired back with pride and defiance, but they did it with such infectious joy that even Young couldn't stay mad. He wore a Skynyrd shirt in concert years later. As tribute, decades later, those first chords still feel like sunlight on the highway, a reminder that pride, melody, and rebellion can coexist in the same three notes. Mark Bolan doesn't get enough credit as a riff master. That opening guitar line is deceptively simple, but absolutely devastating. It's got swagger, it's got attitude, it's got that unmistakable T-Rex crunch that made them rivals to the Beatles in the early 70s. The way Bolan's guitar tone cuts through is instantly recognizable from the first chord. Bolan's backing vocals come in. Those trademark yas that punctuated every great T-Rex song. The string parts add drama. Everything locks together into something irresistible. This was released when Bolan was at the absolute height of his powers, untouchable and unafraid. He would take shots at the Beatles and the Stones in interviews, completely confident that T-Rex belonged in that conversation.
France is fine, France is good.
Based on the run of hits he was producing, that confidence was justified. The intro to 20th Century Boy proved he could create moments as iconic as anything Jagger or Lennon ever conjured. This one isn't as famous as the others on this list, But that intro might be the most perfectly constructed of them all. The guitar builds tension, dynamics shifting second by second. Then John Perry unleashes a mini solo that's a masterwork of composition all by itself. Every note feels intentional. Every bend and sustain calculated for maximum emotional impact. You could end the song right there, and it would still be remarkable. The intro is so good that whatever follows risks sounding like an anticlimax. Somehow, the only ones pull it off. The vocal enters and matches the intensity. The full band locks in. That guitar solo halfway through the song stands as the finest moment to come out of the entire punk era. Not many people know this track, but those who do understand they've discovered something special, an intro that transcends its own perfection. This one isn't as famous as the others on this list, but that intro might be the most perfectly constructed of them all. The guitar builds tension, dynamics shifting second by second. Then John Perry unleashes a mini solo that's a masterwork of composition all by itself. Every note feels intentional. Every bend and sustain calculated for maximum emotional impact. You could end the song right there, and it would still be remarkable. The intro is so good that whatever follows risks sounding like an anticlimax. Somehow, the only ones pull it off. The vocal enters and matches the intensity. The full band locks in. That guitar solo halfway through the song stands as the finest moment to come out of the entire punk era. Not many people know this track, but those who do understand they've discovered something special, an intro that transcends its own perfection.
2, 3, 4.
Hey ho, let's go! 4 words that changed rock and roll forever. Johnny Ramone's chainsaw guitar on one side, Dee Dee's pummeling bass on the other. No solos, no clever progressions, just primal energy captured on vinyl. The simplicity was the genius, stripping rock down to its purest form. The chant was inspired by the Bay City Rollers, of all bands, but the Ramones transformed it into a rallying cry for every kid who felt out of place. Every teenager searching desperately for something real in a world of disco and bland complacency. The intro promised exactly what the Ramones delivered for their entire career. Pure, unfiltered rock and roll stripped down to its essential elements. Fast, loud, simple, and absolutely perfect. It wasn't polished, and it didn't need to be. In 2 minutes and 12 seconds, the Ramones reminded the world that attitude could be louder than perfection. Rick Parfitt's Telecaster enters alone. That grinding, quintessential Quo riff plays for 20 seconds before the rest of the band joins in. In concert, Rick would stretch those 20 seconds into 2 full minutes, building anticipation until the audience could barely stand it anymore. The tension he created was almost unbearable in the best possible way. What's your favorite Status Quo song? When the full band finally kicks in, it's sonic nirvana. Everything locks into that groove, that unstoppable boogie that Quo perfected and owned. Critics dismissed them for playing the same 3 chords, missing the point entirely. Those 3 chords are the foundation of blues, rock, and roll itself. Rick Parfitt was one of the greatest rhythm guitarists of all time, and Francis Rossi matched him note for note. This intro, along with Down Down, gave Quo 2 of the most recognizable openings in 70s rock, the kind that give you goosebumps every single time. Dave Vanian's spoken intro sets the scene, then 20 seconds of Rat Scabies attacking his drum kit like it owed him money. Finally, Brian James' guitar enters and everything that came before in rock music suddenly feels obsolete. This was the first punk single ever released. Notice served that nothing would ever be the same. The energy was so raw, it felt dangerous just listening to it. The intro captures the raw power and frustration of an entire generation. Kids who were tired of 10-minute guitar solos and concept albums about medieval wizards, they wanted music that hit fast and hit hard. The Damned delivered exactly that. Their first album remains essential for understanding what punk actually was in those early days. Short, sharp, intense. Every song a sonic explosion. The intro to New Rose kicked down the door and let everyone know the old guard's time was up. That drum pattern hits first, instantly recognizable. Then the band intros. Are you ready, Steve? The call and response builds excitement with every word. Finally, that guitar figure enters, and you know you're hearing the greatest opening in glam rock history. Every element works together like a perfectly choreographed performance. The drum phrase was borrowed from an old Sandy Nelson instrumental, but Sweet transformed it into something completely their own. Chin and Chapman wrote the song, but Sweet made it immortal. Their run of hits in the early 70s was unprecedented, each single somehow better than the last. People forget how talented Sweet actually were. Fantastic musicians who could sing 4-part harmonies that inspired a young Freddie Mercury. Queen borrowed heavily from Sweet's vocal approach, and Mercury never hid his admiration. This intro stands as the perfect distillation of everything glam rock promised: excitement, energy, spectacle. Pure joy wrapped in power chords and unstoppable rhythm. Decades later, those opening seconds still make your pulse quicken. Those first notes still hold power. They remind us of the thrill of discovery, of the moment sound and emotion collided to create something unforgettable. Every great song began with a spark, a promise that what followed would stay with you forever. Even decades later, one riff, one drum beat, one chord can pull you back to who you were the first time you heard it. And maybe that's what we're really chasing when we hit play today. Not just nostalgia, but that electric instant when music first made us feel alive. Because some intros don't just start a song, they start a memory, a heartbeat, a rush, a reminder that rock and roll never really ends, it just waits for us to press play again.